141 match of Nate Limmex and Sal Profaci.
Nate Limmex, a redshirt sophomore, 15-9 on the year from out of Michigan. He's well past his win total from last year. He's had a really, really impressive redshirt sophomore season. And then on the other side, you have Sal Profaci, a redshirt sophomore, 8-5 on the year from Monroe Township in New Jersey. Two wrestlers with very similar win percentages on the year. Be interesting to see which one can overcome the hump and get what's going to look like a quality win, because I think both these wrestlers could find themselves ranked by the end of the year.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And Nate Limmex coming off of a great showing at Midlands, placing 4th there, getting quite a few ranked wins there. So he is on a hot streak coming in against a good Michigan team, a good Princeton team, as we saw earlier.
Profaci coming off of an upset win over number 16th ranked Cole Weaver of IU on Friday night, a 6-4 decision in favor of Sal. So a nice quality ranked opponent that he knocked off en route to that 43-0 overall team win for Michigan over Indiana. And that was at Indiana. Shot there by Limmex, good counter, and defense by Sal. Another attempt by Nate Limmex. Countered again.
A lot of hand fighting. It looks like Limmex is kind of leaving his left leg out quite a bit.
Yeah.
Even though that is the leg he leads with, he's still sticking it out pretty far. I'd like to see Profaci take a shot at that left leg.
So after the first period, just a lot of back and forth, kind of feeling out each other as wrestlers. No score just at this point. And with that, Nate Limmex will go down to start the second period, as he'll try to get on the board here with an escape or reversal. Quick move by Nate. Good counter by Profaci. Double clutch there, out of bounds call by the referee.
Yeah, the referee kind of was making the call as he looked back and saw still had a foot in.
So with that, we'll reset here. Nate Limmex still down for Purdue. To his feet, trying to break that grip. That's out of bounds, and you can tell Nate Limmex is getting closer and closer to being able to escape out of here, but a nice, strong grip there by Sal Profaci. And finally, Nate's able to escape and get the first point of the match here in the second period with under a minute and a half to go. So both wrestlers back to neutral now, where they spent most of the time in the first period kind of battling it out with heavy hands. Shot there by Nate. He gets a hold of the right foot. He's going to try to keep a hold of that.
That was a great shot by Limmex, seeing that Profaci's weight had shifted back and he was kind of on his heels, grabbing that right leg.
He's going to try to get his leg behind it. He does, and gets the 2 points for the takedown. So Nate Limmex extends his lead to 3-0, as now he will work on top and try to break down Sal Profaci and keep him on the mat. Profaci with the escape. So it has been kind of slow back and forth, and we just got a little spurt of scoring there. It'll be interesting to see which one tries to make the next move. Profaci thought about taking a shot there, but decided not to.
Yeah, it seems like neither of these guys are really interested in taking huge risks. Limmex was able to get that takedown with kind of what was given to him. I mean, a good job taking advantage of what was given to him, but neither one of these guys really looking to take a risk. We'll see if that changes in the third period, as obviously Profaci down 2 points needs to take a couple risks here.
So Profaci looking for the early escape here to start the third period, down 2. Nate Limmex trying his best to hold on and hip toss him back down to the mat. He does so as they go sprawling out of bounds, and we'll go back to center. Limmex still on top here. Caution from Nate Limmex of Purdue. Be interesting to see if he goes in here from the left side again, or if he switches it off and goes to the right. He's going to stick to that left side. No, he switched it back and went. He did go right. A little gamesmanship there from Nate, trying to mix it up. As he still tries to keep a hold of that grip, take him down to the ground as they go sprawling out of bounds, and 2-point reversal to tie up the match.
And look at the way Profaci kept his toes in bounds to be able to get that. Very impressive awareness, spatial awareness by him. Looks like they're going to have a little bit of blood time, maybe.
Looks like it's the back of the head.
A very interesting spot to find blood.
I wonder if the headgear caused it.
Could be the headgear, could be a chin that kind of broke the skin, could be a fingernail scraped and got the back of his head. Many different things that could cause that blood time. But as we see a lot of times in these blood times that we talked about before, when you go off the mat, you don't care about that bleeding. That you let somebody else worry about the bleeding that you're dealing with, and you just talk to coach. You try to get your head right. You try to get your breathing under control, get your heart rate down, figure out what coach is wanting to tell you. Let somebody else worry about that blood that you've got.
So it's like Nate Limmex is going to go with the ninja look here with the tape wrapped around his head with the headgear on to keep that from continuing to bleed here as we're still in the third period. And after a nice reversal by Profaci, now they're going to have a little bit more trouble trying to get the headgear on with a whole nother layer of padding underneath.
Yeah, that headgear is put on to be tight to your head. And you add another layer, even if it's just a thin layer of gauze, obviously it adds some trouble. Interesting choice with just a minute and a half left to give up that point.
He lets him up, thinking I guess he can take him down one more time. Limmex is going to... He's got a nice hold of that right leg. Nate Limmex is going to try his best to roll him over and get the 2 points for the takedown. If he can get his head up, which is going to be very hard to do at this stage. So now they both have a hold of each other. Purdue's coaching staff screaming for Nate to get his head up. Both now have a hold of each other's legs. No advantage has been given to either side. If Nate can get that leg free, he'll get the 2 points. He's unable to do it so far. He's got to keep a hold of that leg, Hunter.
Yeah, it looks like Profaci was in better position to get that as the referee calls a stalemate. Probably a good call in all honesty. In those situations, there's not going to be a lot that happens because Limmex wasn't going to be willing to give up that leg for Profaci to be able to spin around and get the takedown. So probably a good call for them to reset, but a very close call for both wrestlers to be able to take the lead.
Aggressive wrestling right now for Nate Limmex. It's twice now he's taken a shot. Now he's going to play a little defense as he sprawls down to the mat with his hips to the floor. Able to fight out that shot from Sal Profaci. Profaci knows he's got to go soon. 10 seconds left. He's got Nate Limmex's head down, but he's unable to get to the mat. There he goes. 5 seconds. Limmex is going to try to fight off this last sprawling effort. He does so. An impressive win for Nate Limmex to come back after getting let up and play defense for an entire, just under 30 seconds.
Yeah, great show of defense by Limmex. And that last 5 or 10 seconds was a very close call for him, almost giving up the takedown and the 2 points.